しっかり自分を保持しろ。捕まる。捕まっとかないとどうなるかわかんないよ。10メーターだね。うわ、これ第2弾来るからな。4面前進12度。
大きな津波が迫っています。まもなく捉えました。大きな津波が2波3波に確認してできますでしょうか。大きな津波が、何波にも分けて迫っております。白波を立てて、
俺の車終わった。
They didn't address tsunami hazards sufficiently well. You must not underestimate.
A worker records the moment of impact on video. Another takes photographs as water floods the plant in a succession of waves. The tsunami walls were too low. This simple design flaw led to a catastrophic series of events that would leave the plant in danger of meltdown. Plant managers have no power to keep cooling pumps going. Fuel rods begin to overheat, turning to liquid. This meltdown releases large amounts of radioactivity. And temperature and pressure gauges across the plant are out of action, so managers have no knowledge of the state of their reactors.
So, talk about this raising of the category level to 7 on a par with Chernobyl.
Well, Tokyo Electric has been in denial, trying to downplay the full impact of this nuclear accident. However, there's a formula, a mathematical formula by which you can determine what level this accident is. This accident has already released something on the order of 50,000 trillion becquerels of radiation. You do the math. Say you're driving a car, and the car all of a sudden lunges out of control. You hit the brakes. The brakes don't work. That's because the earthquake wiped out the safety systems in the first minutes of the earthquake and tsunami. Then your radiator starts to heat up and explodes. That's the hydrogen gas explosion. And then to make it worse, the gas tank is heating up, and all of a sudden your whole car is going to be in flames. That's the full-scale meltdown. So what do? You drive the car into a river. That's what the utility did by putting seawater from the Pacific Ocean in a desperate attempt to keep water on top of the core.
Removing the melted fuel from units 1, 2, and 3 is another matter entirely. The radiation levels are simply too high for humans to ever get close enough to clean up. Even so, TEPCO is vowing to have the fuel debris removed from one of the reactors by mid-2020. TEPCO is furiously trying to keep pace with the water. They finish a new 250,000-gallon holding tank here about every other day. The The hastily built tanks have been leaking, prompting a switch to a welded design, buttressed by gutters, dikes, trenches, and water sealing. Regardless, no one disputes the plant is steadily leaking radiation-tainted water into the sea.
An exclusion zone 20 kilometers around the plant is still being enforced. All farms are abandoned. 4 centimeters of radioactive topsoil must be removed from every plot of fertile land. Until then, no crops can be grown again. It could be 10 years before 100,000 people in evacuation centers across the region will be allowed to return to their homes.
We have scientists asking various federal agencies to fund a proper scientific study on the Fukushima plume as it arrives in the U.S. They approach the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the Department of Energy, the Environmental Protection Agency, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, and the National Institute of Standards and Technology. All said the same thing. It's not their responsibility. Bluefin tuna. These amazing creatures spawn near Japan, migrate to California, then return to Japan. He measured tuna caught in San Diego 4 months after the meltdowns.
We were quite surprised to see that every single fish we analyzed had clear evidence of Fukushima-derived radionuclides in their tissue.
In fact, polls show as much as 80% of voters here now oppose nuclear power. And large, noisy protests like this outside Abe's office are a regular occurrence.
We continue this protest until they give up all the nuclear power plants.
So when the utility says that things are stable, it's only stable in the sense that you're dangling from a cliff, hanging by your fingernails, and as the time goes by, each fingernail starts to crack. That's the situation now.